taking out a corpse.
They say daughters look like fathers. Good thing she doesn't.
I'm not bad looking.
Faith versus ambition. When do I know when I'm overstepping? When do I know when I'm going too far?
People believe so long as I prayed, God will do everything.
Yeah.
No, prayer is like a boardroom meeting with God. So the guy who is doing things without God can get results, but not get peace.
Okay.
The guy who's not doing anything but believes in God will be frustrated and will actually suffer depression. Our God is faithful, our God is loving, our God wants you to succeed. But over and above, our God wants us to be productive.
Now, hello and a very warm welcome to Lunchtime News on KBC Channel 1, coming to you live from the broadcasting house in Kenya's capital, Nairobi. My name is Giverson Maina. Our sign language interpreter is Ann Wangeshi. So join us for the next 1 hour for news within and, of course, across the country, plus the international front, and of course sports. Now I want to take you straight to Kakamega County in Malava, where we have our reporter standby Timothy Kipnusu to bring us to speed on matters by elections slated for tomorrow. Kipnusu, if you can hear me, what do we have now, or what do we know as of now? How is the preparation so far?
Yesterday there was a concern raised by the DAP candidate with regard to other politicians who are seen what they are calling treating voters after campaigns ended, and they specifically called out Kakamega woman representative Elsie Muhanda. Have you noted that insofar as the violation of the electoral code of conduct is concerned, or has that concern come to your office formally?
As far as I'm concerned, the women rep is not a candidate in these particular elections. Nobody has complained to me. What I know, all candidates signed the code of conduct, and I want to believe that none has broken any so far. Otherwise, they know the procedure. And up to now, that code of conduct is still in effect.
We've seen the marraming or the grading of the road towards this constituency turning center. Is it a coincidence that this is the time the road is being done? And if yes, will that have an effect on insofar as operations are concerned? Because it is now a challenge accessing this place, and why is the road being done now?
When I was appointed to this position in August, when I came here, the road was being done. So I don't know if it's a coincidence, I can't tell. But what I know, it has been going on for the last 2 months.
But with ours to tomorrow, tonight, do you think they should stop or they should continue? And how will that one have effect as far as accessing this place?
So long as the road is clean, my people will get out and they'll come back. I'm sure they know that election is going on, and I need that road for my vehicles to use to and from the tallying station. So I'll talk to them so that they either stop or grade the road to a position where my vehicles can access it.
Will this be used as the main tallying center? Will this be used as the main tallying center?
This is the main tallying center, and that's why you are seeing these boxes behind me. After they shall have left, it will be turned to a tallying center, and we'll have a different setup again.
You know, that is Malava constituency. That's IBC official updating on matters preparations ahead of tomorrow's by-elections. Now, we'll of course go back there to our very own Timothy Kipnusu to bring more information about what is going on there. But away from that now, bodaboda riders in Nairobi CBD have urged their colleagues to join SACCOs as the key to restoring order in the sector and curbing criminal activities. The riders have urged the government to empower SACCOs leadership to members that can be properly supervised and easily identified. Speaking in the wake of a murder of a bodaboda rider in South B a week ago, the riders also called for mandatory registration, saying those unwilling to join should be compelled by authorities for the safety of both riders and passengers. Nairobi Central OCS Samuel Miriti is calling on riders to remain vigilant about the customers and goods they carry, adding that SACCO numbers make tracing and identification easier. He further encouraged bodaboda operators to share any suspicious information, noting that they often have a first-hand knowledge of what happens on the ground.
Watu wa bodaboda ndio mnapata ile information mzuri. Hata mtu atakuja akwambia anataka kuvukisha hii na unajua. Na ukijua yani ni kitu inaenda ku affect our country, you don't accept, because yani we have to, hatuna mali nyingine ya kwenda. I think you are the people who can tell us yani Kenya is the only peaceful country we have around the East Africa.
So sisi tunaomba serikali vijana wote ambao anaendesha pikipiki waingie kwa SACCO. Na kama utataka kuingia SACCO basi tufanya biashara nyingine, kwa sababu hiyo ndio mwelekeo.
Now, leaders and teachers fraternity in Kakamega County are calling on the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, DCI, to fast-track investigations into the death of Munyoki Secondary School Principal Simon Shange Isiaho. Speaking during his burial in Likuyani, Kakamega, Governor Fernandez Baraza said the principal's death had shocked the school's community and the entire county, emphasizing that only a transparent and thorough investigation would restore confidence and offer closure to the bereaved family. The late Isiaho's body was found dumped in Lugari River after he went missing while reportedly collecting KCSE exam papers.
Hatuna imani na local DCI. The investigation is now being done by the homicide team from Nairobi. And we are demanding for our reports.
Mimi aliniambia ataamukia shuleni, nami nikija na mtihani ningempata kule. We are crying for justice to be served.
Any teacher who is insecure wherever he or she may be, we take it without any reservation, whether there is a replacement or no replacement, because life is more important and precious than being in that particular school.
Now, Kitui residents are staring at looming drought as the ongoing below-average rains leave crops withering in the fields. Many farmers had invested heavily in land preparation ahead of the short rain season, but are now counting potential losses after the rains proved unreliable. Kitui County Agriculture CC by Kimwele is urging farmers to adopt climate-smart agricultural practices, noting that rainfall patterns in the region have become increasingly unpredictable.
Tulipanda kwa mashamba yetu, lakini mvua ikakosekana, mbegu zikamea, zingine hazikumea, na zile zilimea zimekauka. Tunangojea tuone kama Mungu atatusaidia, mvua inyeshe, ikinyesha tupande tena.
Mvua ambayo tunaitarajia sana, hii itakuwa ya kutosha, itakuwa kidogo, itakuwa poorly distributed, na itakuwa ya kutosha ya kupanda mimea ambayo inahitaji mvua mingi kama mahindi. Na mimi nataka kuambia muangalie mimea ambayo inahitaji mvua kidogo kama vile ndengu, cowpeas, pigeon peas ambazo ni baadhi, vitu zingine kama mawele, sorghum, millet. Hizo ndio tutaweza kufanya vizuri huku kwetu.
And I want to take you to Siaya County in Ugunja constituency, where we have our very own reporter on standby, Simon Achola. Simon Achola, if you can hear me, from what you've gathered, what is the preparation level ahead of the by-elections tomorrow in that particular constituency, the parliamentary seat?
All our presiding officers have reported to our tallying center, ready to pick relevant materials for the exercise, and we've not had any challenge in terms of personnel. In terms of materials, we are up to date. In terms of security also, all our polling stations will be covered with a total of 240 police officers will be manning the tallying center and the 116 polling stations around the constituency. At the same time, we'll be having a number of contingent police officers, teams that will be moving around. Each ward will have security teams that will be manning the areas to ensure that the citizens get the opportunity to freely exercise their constitutional right. So far, so good. I don't think we've any challenges. Those that will come, we'll definitely address them as they come. But as at now, everything is running out smoothly, and we appreciate everything. And I want to say the people of Ugunja will definitely get their candidates in a very fair, transparent election that will be conducted tomorrow.
In such exercises, there are usually cases of malpractices being, concerns of malpractices being raised by candidates. Things to do with voter bribery, violence, and stuff like that. I don't know whether you have experienced that.
Aspect of bribery, aspects of flouting the code of conduct.
Yes.
Those will definitely, when they come to our attention, are definitely dealt with. We expect that all voters who will arrive at the polling station will be given the opportunity to cast their vote and leave. We will not have any voters within the polling station, and the vicinity around polling stations will be manned definitely by a contingent of police who will be moving around to ensure that there are no people with any malicious intentions within those routes to polling stations. That is why we have a more heavier deployment of security than usual.
Okay. Yeah. When you look at the disbursement of strategic materials, you say that preparations are actually in top gear. We are right at the tail end of it when you look at exactly everything that is being unfolded now. At what time are we expecting that probably will be done with this exercise? And in terms of preparedness of ensuring that this material actually gets to the polling station, how well are we prepared to ensure that there are no anomalies?
Yeah, we shall provide definitely transport from this tallying center all the way to the polling stations, and no presiding officer will leave this tallying center without having 2 armed police officers who will take care of them. We are providing transport for all presiding officers, each to their stations, and then about the time they're leaving, I think as from 3, you'll start seeing the moving away of presiding officers to their stations. Upon reaching their stations, they will notify us. That is why I've actually requested for their arrival and how they have found the situation.
Closely linked to malpractices, there is a tendency of leaders, of those who don't come from this region, who always tend to come and want to be part and parcel of the election, and of course they are part of the people that are actually part of the group that actually increase the tension in terms of claims of malpractices. Just the leaders will be coming tomorrow. Probably what would you tell them?
Election offences are offences and punishable by law, and there are no 2 ways about it. You commit an election offence, you get the penalty, which is huge. It's not small, right? So all electoral offences will be dealt with as per the law.
Right. I think that's fine.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you, sir. Hello? Kuna contact zake?
That is IBC returning officer in the sub-county of Ugunja, one Dennis Omari, of course, updating on the preparedness and, of course, the security preparations ahead of the by-elections tomorrow in the parliamentary contest, of course, slated for tomorrow morning. And, of course, the former member of parliament right there was Opio Ndai. And, of course, the various contestants are there, of course, contesting, or rather battling to fill that particular slot. And now I want to take you to Mathare, where learners at MCDO, a Beijing school in Nairobi's Mathare settlement, are set for a major uplift after the Chinese embassy in Kenya and the Kenya-Chinese, or the China Economic and Trade Association, extended an additional 11 million shillings in new support to the institution. Chinese ambassador to Kenya, Guyo Haiyan, said the fresh boost on top of previous donations will fund school renovations, learning materials and scholarships for vulnerable children in a community where poverty still threatens many children's education. Take a look.
In Mathare, where makeshift classrooms and crowded learning spaces have long defined the daily reality, learners at Mseido Beijing School are preparing for a major change. The institution received an additional 11 million shillings from the Chinese embassy in Kenya and the Kenya-China Economic and Trade Association, building on years of earlier support.
Also appreciate the additional learning and welfare resources you have provided, the textbook, science practical apparatus, the school printer, the Macintosh beddings for our younger children, or the sitting arrangements, the chairs, the small chairs which we also provided this time. We must also not take these ones as granted, but we must say a big, big, big thank you.
The new funding will go towards renovation works, new desks, learning materials, uniforms, and welfare support for vulnerable pupils. Past contributions have already helped build essential structures, and today's additional boost pushes the school closer to a full transformation.
And in the past over 40 years of our opening up and reform, the recent history, education has made a great contribution to the fast development of a country, because education also related to science, technology. So that's and now in the new era, that's the main driving force of our development. So we know that the cooperation in education is also a very important part of our bilateral relations.
The facelift will be further strengthened through 2.975 million shillings donation from Keda Ceramics in tiles and renovation materials. The company is one of the several Chinese firms partnering with the school through Siketa.
Education is indeed a noble and empowering journey for individuals and for society as a whole. It brings us immense joy to see the children of Mseido Beijing School learning and growing under the guidance of their dedicated teachers. You are building a strong foundation for your future.
Beyond buildings, several learners received new scholarships, easing the financial burden on parents and helping keep vulnerable pupils in school.
Also, education matters because it's very important for the youth, and youth is the future of a country, and it's also the future of our friendship and cordial relations. Thank you.
Now I want to take you off to Baringo County, where we're having our very own Ben Chumba to update us on the preparations in the senatorial by-elections in Baringo tomorrow. If you can hear me, Ben Chumba, kindly bring us to speed.
Sema onea, utanifanyia hivi. Good afternoon, Giverson, Maina. Indeed, we are coming to you live from Mogotio constituency in Baringo County, where the final preparations ahead of tomorrow by-election is underway. Right here, as we are speaking now, the officers from the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission are busy here confirming details of the voting materials before they distribute to their various polling stations. IBC, we are right at Mogotio Girls Secondary School in Mogotio constituency, of course being part of the 6 constituencies in Baringo County. And here we can see that officials of IBC have begun their final dispatch of voting materials ahead of tomorrow's senatorial by-election. Since morning, around 9 a.m. in the morning, we saw the presiding officers here and their deputies. They have been gathering here just to receive ballot papers, the KIMS kits, and other essentials before transporting them to their respective polling stations. Of course, early in the morning, we saw the constituency returning officer holding a final briefing for all the polling staff, outlining procedures and expectations to ensure a smooth, credible, and timely exercise across Mogotio's stations. Maybe we can just look inside the voting materials package. If my camera person can be able to zoom in, we can see that inside the voting materials package issued by to the presiding officers here in Mogotio, IBC has included all essentials required to run tomorrow's senatorial by-election. Each station receives a Senate ballot box, and it's of course it has a lid, a black box for sensitive materials. We also see a set of statutory forms that includes forms 32, 33, and of course 41, which are very crucial for recording voter details, the results, and also the administrative issues. Also inside the kit, we also see that there are incredible ink pens. We also have rubber stamps inside, of course used for rejected, disputed, and spoiled ballots. Security seals are also contained inside, the official badges for all polling officers, of course from the presiding officers and their deputies to polling clerks and queuing clerks. Other support items such as gas lanterns are also inside there. The gas cylinders and matchboxes are also included for lighting, especially for stations may be reliable. Just to inform our viewers that Mogotio constituency register vote count in Baringo with just under 39,000, but in as much as it has the lowest registered voters, it remains a crucial part of a county-wide race being closely watched. As a total of 281,000 registered, not 6 polling stations, but of course across 6. We have Baringo North, we have Baringo Central, we also have Baringo South, we have Tiati and Mogotio constituencies. Of course, Eldama Ravine constituency has the highest number of registered voters. And out of the 281,000 registered voters in Baringo County, we have a total of 1,010 polling stations across the county. Just to take you through the candidates who will be contesting for the seat tomorrow, we have about 6 candidates who will be keen just to ensure that they win tomorrow's senatorial by-election. 6 candidates include UDS Vincent Kiprono Chemitei. We also have Samuel Letasio of Kenya Moja Movement. We also have David Kipruto of Republican Liberty Party. We have Daniel Kipchirchir of Umoja na Maendeleo. We also have Shadrach Kiplawat of Alliance for Real Change. Giverson, this is a race with a high political stake because the senatorial seat held by the UDA, that is the ruling party, and President William Ruto is very keen to ensure that UDA party retains the seat. In fact, during his development tour in Baringo on October 28, President William Ruto urged residents here to back the UDA candidate, saying that it will be a shame for him to lose a seat in his home region. And also, it is also important to note that the political temperatures here shifted on October 8th when KANU party leader Gideon Moi withdrew from the race, of course, after having an agreement broad-based government. Therefore, KANU party leader Gideon Moi will not be on the ballot. However, a lot of political observers say here that if Gideon Moi will have been on the race, then this will have been a different story. Therefore, it is a matter of wait and see how tomorrow will unfold, but we will be updated in our subsequent news bulletin on just how the preparations here in Baringo are ongoing ahead of election. Reporting from Mogotio Girls in Mogotio constituency in Baringo County, I'm Ben Chumba. Back to you, Giverson.
Now, that is our very own Ben Chumba reporting live from Mogotio in Baringo County ahead of the Baringo senatorial elections that was necessitated by the death of Senator William Cheptumo. And of course, as he said, there are of course 6 candidates, but this will be very interesting considering that KANU's chairman Gideon Moi actually conceded and was actually convinced by President William Moi to support the UDA's candidate. But now, away from that, I want to take you through another story where religious leaders in Lamu County have urged residents to reject any efforts to divide them along religious, ethnic or political lines. The clergy warn that such divisions threaten peace, weaken social cohesion and derail development in the community. Speaking during stakeholder engagement forum that brought together the clerics and opinion leaders, the clergy stressed the need for dialogue and mutual respect to counter rising tensions driven by political activities.
Huyu ana shout na huyu ana shout. Apili yangu kwa watu wa kaunti ya Lamu ni kwamba tuweze kujua jinsi ya kutofautisha mambo ya dini na siasa. Tusikubali siasa zikaleta migawanyiko katika dini zetu, bali watu wa imani yetu iweze kuwa ya kuletea umoja.
Oh, sorry for that technical hitch. And now I want to take you to, of course, I take you to a short break, and then after that we take you straight to Homa Bay in Kasipul constituency, where we're having a reporter standby to update us on matters by elections. Don't go too far.
When the hills gave way in Marakwet, thousands were left with nothing. But together, we can help them rise again. Join KBC in the Restore Hope, Restore Earth campaign, Unity in Adversity. Together for Marakwet. Donate through paybill number 522533, account number 8036543, or drop foodstuffs and supplies at Marakwet County offices. Every shilling, every tree, every act of kindness counts. KBC, bringing Kenyans together.
Looking to advertise on KBC? KBC announcement services are now available on eCitizen. Visit kbc.ecitizen.go.ke and fill out the online application form. It's simple. 1. Complete the form. 2. Upload required documents. 3. Receive a quotation based on word count. And 4. Get notified via SMS when your announcement is ready. Please note, clearly indicate the type of announcement, service station, and all relevant details. 2. All applications must be made online only. Manual submissions will not be accepted. And 3. Announcements will air after news bulletins. For assistance, reach us on email ecitizen@kbc.co.ke or use our social media handles, Facebook, your Facebook account, and X at your X account. Or you can call us on 0723 892 654 or 0734 780 124. KBC announcements. Simple, fast, and digital.
Want to enjoy free-to-air digital TV with crystal clear quality? Here's how to get started with Signet. Step 1. If you have a smart TV, you're good to go. Next, connect the aerial to your TV. Now, do an auto search on your TV. Just follow the prompts on the screen. And that's it. You're now tuned in to Signet. Sit back and enjoy a wide range of free-to-air digital channels. For technical inquiries, call the Signet hotline on 0770 572 656.
And welcome back. You're watching Lunchtime News here on KBC Channel 1. Now I take you straight to Homa Bay County in Kasipul constituency ahead of the by-elections slated for tomorrow. And our reporter, Wycliffe Okech, is on standby. Wycliffe Okech, if you can hear me, this seems to be quite interesting. By elections tomorrow, considering that what with the contest or the battles we've been seeing, or even on television, reading on newspaper, the contest between, of course, Philip Aroko and Boyd Were, they've been fined because of various cases of violence. Has the situation changed? Are things ready? Are things ready in preparation for tomorrow's by-election?
Thank you so much, Giverson, Maina. After almost 6 months without a member of parliament or other representative at the National Assembly, now finally the residents of Kasipul constituency here in Homa Bay County will have a moment at the ballot to select, or rather to elect, their next representative at the National Assembly after the sudden demise of the former holder of that particular office, that is Charles Ongondowere, who was shot in Nairobi. And after 6 months now, the voters, or rather the electorate at Kasipul constituency here in Homa Bay will take to the poll tomorrow starting 6 in the morning to elect their next member of parliament. And this is where we are. This is the tallying center that will be used for the exercise. For the this is a Gorosare High School that is used will be used as the tallying center for this particular exercise. And that is where we are right now. And basically, I believe my camera person Yamatiko behind the lens can basically show what is happening on at the ground. This is the presiding officers and their deputies collecting their deployment letters. This exercise is being led by the logistics officer from the IEBC, and the building that you're just seeing there, that is the building containing electoral materials. What's happening that once the presiding officers and their deputies collect the deployment letters, they are breaking out for lunch, as I believe it can be shown on the screen. After immediately they will be done with their lunch break, they will come back here and collect the electoral materials that will be actually accompanied by the police officers to the various polling stations. The vehicles you're seeing behind me here, these are vehicles that have been procured by the IEBC from various schools around here to enable the logistical arrangements here. Like I mentioned, once the presiding officers are done collecting their electoral materials, they will onboard these vehicles in the company of police officers to their various polling stations. Let me just run our viewers through some of the statistics regarding the electoral material election, the by-election of Kasipul. This is a constituency with 67,513 registered voters here in Kasipul constituencies. And Kasipul constituencies is divided in 5 wards, and there will be 142 polling stations used for this exercise. That is starting tomorrow between 6 a.m. and 5 p.m. in the evening. And there are 10 contesting candidates for this particular election, by-election rather. Among those candidates, we have the son of the former holder of this office that is also contesting actually to replace his father as the next member of parliament for Kasipul constituency. A while ago, we had an address from the Interior Minister, Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen, also addressed us. There is the IBC Chair, Ethicon himself, who addressed us and he mentioned critical issues. One of them is the need to observe the election code of conduct, and that is actually through a caution to the candidates to ensure that they conduct themselves within that code of conduct. And remember, the IEBC has a committee that is charged with the responsibility of enforcing the elections code of conduct. And he mentioned that in any case there will be a candidate that will be dissatisfied with the conduct of their opponent, they should be able to lodge that complaint formally to the IEBC, and the committee that is charged with the responsibility to enforce elections code of conduct will take that matter up and act immediately. Of course, we've seen that happen. Recently, we saw IEBC charging a fine, or rather imposing a fine of 1 million to 2 candidates in this particular contest. That shows you that the IEBC is impartial. Actually, that is what the chair mentioned, that the IEBC, as the referee for this particular exercise, will remain impartial, just to ensure that each candidate is accorded a fair playing ground. What's happening that after these presiding officers and the deputies collect these materials, they will be taken to the 142 polling stations in readiness for tomorrow exercise. Key to mention is that Kipchumba Murkomen, the CS for Interior, has thrown a caution to the politicians who may be attempting to influence this exercise in whatever manner. He said that stern action will be taken against the politicians and also any other unruly behavior during this exercise. As KBC, we are on the ground and we will be able to update you viewers promptly and as we get any emerging issue. For now, let me hand you back to studio, my colleague Giverson Maina, for the continued coverage of the bulletin.
Very own Wycliffe Okech updating on the things happening on the ground ahead of tomorrow's by-elections there in Kasipul, Kabondo in Homa Bay County. Thank you, Wycliffe Okech, for the report. Now, youths have been challenged to seek elective positions, to have their aspirations and demands represented in real time. The clearing calls were made in Matungulu, Machakos County, where church leaders, community groups and aspiring young politicians rallied the youth to seek the elective positions boldly. Take a look.
Speaking during a mega worship service, aspiring MCA for Matungulu East Jonathan Mutinda urged young people to step forward and take an active role in shaping the country's political future.
Na ningependa kuhimiza wananchi wenzangu ya kwamba tuendelee kujitayarisha katika uchaguzi ambao unakuja. Sisi kama vijana tumejitokeza na tumejipanga vilivyo.
Mutinda emphasized that leadership should not be reserved for a specific age bracket, saying the youth must be bold enough to vie for elective seats to ensure their voices and interests are represented.
Kwa Kenya mzima, tuchukue kura, tujipange na tukue tayari kwa mwaka wa kupiga kura ambao ni 27.
The church, community leaders and local groups echoed this message, assuring young leaders of their full support.
Tumekuwa na watu wengi wa siasa na ile mjadala nimesikia akiwa nayo, mjadala ya kuongoza wananchi kupitia nguvu za ujana. Nikaona ya kwamba tumefika wakati mzuri sana wa kugeuza nia zetu ili tuanze kufikiria wale vijana wetu ambao tumewalea na wako na nguvu na wako na maneno mapya na nguvu mpya ambazo zinaweza kuenesha nchi yetu vizuri.
Community representative also raised key concerns affecting residents, among them education, noting that empowering young people academically will greatly enhance their ability to make sound decisions and participate effectively in leadership.
Manjenzi ndio tunataka kuingisha hapo na ni Jona
Jona ndio tumemtuma hapo aende akatutetee. Alete ile kitu hata hatuoni wabunge wale wakubwa wakikuja huku sababu hakuna watu wa kuwaleta. Sasa tukipeleka Jonabo ataleta mapresident wote hapa na Katuana itaendelea mbele. Soko letu itainuka.
The chairman of Persons with Disabilities expressed frustration over being left in access to essential commodities and services.
Watu wetu walemavu wameachwa nyuma sana. Imekuwa for long bila kuona uongozi yoyote mwenye ameshughulika na sisi.
The event highlighted the growing desire among young people and a marginalized group in Machakos County to take charge of their future through active political participation. Reporting for Lunchtime News, I'm Aaron Murray.
Now, residents of Wololo and Machungwani in Taita Taveta have received a boost as the State Department for Asals and Regional Development through a Coast Development Authority commissioned 2 solar-powered boreholes. The project is part of ongoing efforts to strengthen climate-resilient infrastructure in arid and semi-arid areas. The Wololo and Machungwani boreholes yielding 8,000 and 18,000 litres per hour respectively aims to ease decade-long water scarcity for over 3,000 households and 5,000 livestock. Speaking during the commissioning, CDA Acting Managing Director Dr. Monasiti Bendera said the project targets communities previously hit hardest by severe water shortages, adding that the government plans to construct 10 more boreholes to enhance drought resilient and food security.
Mradi huu venye umetimia utafaidisha zaidi ya familia 5,000 ambazo zilikuwa zina shida sana ya maji, ya matumizi ya nyumbani na mifugo na vile vile kunyunyizia mashamba yao. Tumepunguza miendo ya kwenda kutafuta maji mtoni kilomita 7 kwenda na kurudi. Jamii hii imekuwa ikitembea kilomita 14.
Pia tumeweza kujenga the animal troughs alongside of it. Inasaidia the domestic animals that are around here. Na zaidi ya hapo tumeona tayari wameanza small holder agricultural schemes tayari, na inasaidia katika upandishaji wa chakula especially mahindi katika maeneo haya.
And now Kakamega County has reported a worrying rise in HIV infections among adolescents under the age of 19, prompting a renewed call for comprehensive sexual education. Calls for the community to unite in promoting sexual health awareness among the youth dominated the launch of the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. Limited access to sexual education was noted as one of the main hurdles in curbing new HIV infections in the county.
Visa hapo nyuma vilikuwa vingi vya dhulma, na ndio maana tunashirikiana na partners kila wakati kuhamasisha raia na jamii kwa ujumla kwamba tukomeshe hivi visa vya dhulma za kijinsia. Tuna 2 safe houses, moja ambayo iko Shinyalu na nyingine iko Chekalini, na hapa wale ambao wamedhulumiwa wanaenda hapo kuishi kupata usaidizi, matibabu na pia to go through social psychological support.
Kwa wale ambao hujipata kwa hii shida huwa tunawatibu bure, kwa sababu wengi wao sio kutaka kwao wadhulumiwe na wale wababa ambao wako na tabia mbaya kule chini. Kwa hivyo hatuitishangi sana matibabu kuweza kuwashughulikia. Hata wakati wanaenda kuripoti kwa polisi, pia polisi hawawaitishi kitu chochote, kwa sababu hiyo ni huduma kamili kwa wale ambao wamedhulumiwa.
Now, the Laikipia County government has confirmed 172 nurses to permanent and pensionable terms in a move aimed at strengthening service delivery across local health facilities. County Executive Committee member for Health, Dr. Albert Wagura Taiti, says the newly absorbed nurses, including those previously on contract, will help operationalize new dispensaries and support theatres in level 4 hospitals. Governor Joshua Irungu has reaffirmed his commitment to equip all facilities with essential medicines, adding that more dispensaries in Laikipia North and Laikipia East will be commissioned next month.
Sasa kwa hospitali, kwa madispensary, hata kule hatukuwa tumefungua dispensary kwa sababu ya kukosa daktari. Sasa tutafungua dispensary na najua kwamba kuanzia tarehe 16 na tarehe 17 na tarehe 19 najua kwamba tutaenda kule Muhonia, tutaenda kule Wamula, tutaenda kule Laikipia North tukifungua hizo dispensary kwa sababu sasa tumeongezea madaktari.
Therefore we call upon these nurses, they should be able to know that health is a devolved function, and therefore even the salaries they get, whatever they get, is purely out of the sweat. It's purely out of what the Laikipia people are contributing, and therefore they should be able to serve these people with a lot of dedication and with a lot of empathy, and make sure that these people are happy and they can become more productive.
I take you to Mombasa County, where engineers have been having the 32nd International Convention. Of course, the head of public service, Felix Koskei, earlier spoke to the engineers. Listen in.
A public service that will work hand in hand with professions and professionals like yourselves, so that they can consolidate the gains that have been made before, and also ensure that they drive the agenda of development of the country forward. So, ladies and gentlemen, we live in a world reshaped by the digital resolutions, climate revolution, climate change, demographic shifts, and fire evolving citizen expectation. To lead effectively, our public service must evolve with equal speed and precision. Our mission remains to build a future-ready, transparent, accountable, and innovation-driven public service aligned to global best practice. We are pursuing reforms in the following areas. The first area that we are pursuing reforms as government is digital transformation, and you must have interacted with several digital initiatives like e-citizen, etc., because we want to enhance service delivery and we want to ensure that efficiency is seen to be practiced in this country. Second area of transformation is on performance, accountability, and transparency. We are strengthening performance contracting, monitoring, and evaluation frameworks to ensure every officer's output is linked to national outcomes. Accountability and transparency are the foundation of public trust, and following models used in New York, New Zealand, Canada, and the Nordic countries, our public service is increasingly adopting open performance dashboards, strict audit processes, and result-oriented management. Another area that we are looking at as government is an area around ethical leadership and professional integrity. A nation, as you are aware, can only rise as high as the integrity of its institutions. We are embedding ethics and good governance at every level, guided by international standards similar to the OECD principles of public integrity. Leadership, by example, must define Kenya's public service. Public office is a trust, not a privilege, and ethical conduct must be the norm, not the exception. The other area that we are...
Now, Real Estate Farm, AMS Properties, is designing accessible and community-focused living spaces for young professionals in Nairobi metropolitan area. Through its Ikaya brand, the firm is seeking to plug the housing gap in Nairobi by focusing on studios, one-bedroom and two-bedroom apartments.
Growing urbanization coupled with an expanding middle class has pushed up demand for housing, especially in urban centers. Key amenities, modern design, and affordability are among factors that most tenants are keen on. AMS Properties, which had operations in the Kenyan market for over 3 decades, is seeking to capitalize on this rising demand for housing.
We're now unveiling our new brand, Ikaya, meaning home, for the mass market, as AMS has always been known for the luxury market itself.
Located in the rapidly growing Kasarani-Roysambu corridor off USIU Road, the project targets students, young professionals, and first-time home owners. Ikaya comprises 1,138 housing units, ranging from studios, 1-bedroom, and 2-bedroom units, as MySpace Properties CEO Mwenda Zuranira explains.
Private sector, of course, serikali yenyewe haiwezi jengea kila mtu. Hiyo ni kitu haiwezekani. Sababu kiangalia kama in the next by 2050, 50% ya Wakenya watakuwa wanaishi hapa jijini. Na kwa jiji zingine kama Mombasa, Kisumu. So as it happens, mpaka tuwe tayari kuweza kupatia watu manyumba.
Ikaya Development Project Manager highlights the growing adoption of environmentally friendly strategies in modern housing in Kenya.
We have incorporated some of the best finishers that use, which are made from renewable sources, and also we've done, you see, like when you're doing the water heating. Water heating is one of the things that consume a lot of energy, and the environmentalists have a problem with, especially on energy consumption. Now we have gone for some of the best energy efficient fittings.
Construction of the housing project, which will begin mid next year, is expected to take about 3 years to completion.
Now, day 2 of the Creatives Connect Africa Forum burst into color as participants arrived draped in kente, Ankara, tie-dye and beadwork from across the continent. A vivid display of the pride and creativity empowering Africa's fast-evolving fashion sector. But beneath the celebration of culture, many creatives acknowledge that despite African fashion thriving artistically, it remains financially out of reach for millions of Africans. Trevor Ngendo has the details.
The ongoing Connect Creatives Africa Forum in Accra has seen culture come alive as participants stepped out in kente, Ankara, tie-dye, beadwork and other locally inspired outfits, turning the venue into a showcase of the continent's fashion brilliance.
But for some time now, I'm seeing the resurgence of African fashion everywhere. And so we are now realizing what we have.
My job is primarily to promote Ghanaian culture through fashion. I'm wearing a white silk and cotton top, which I have owned for at least 5 years.
You need to add the sprinkle of fashion, because fashion is not what you wear, fashion is lifestyle. So I've infused that in my daily life. If you see me at home, I'm making something fashionable. I'm sleeping, I'm combining my 90s. It has to make sense, so everything for me is fashion.
Despite its popularity, authentic African wear remains expensive for many Africans. A challenge fashion designers say stems from high production costs.
I wish that we will start and support the growth of cotton on the continent, so that we don't have to bring in these thrift clothes that are clogging and causing landmines and, clogging our streets and our gutters and everything. Because they are very cheap, but they are not strong too. They've been worn before. They have defects.
What many hope is that the growing appreciation for African design will be matched by reforms that make fashion a sustainable industry for all Africans.
Standing here surrounded by these stunning African prints, it's easy to see the passion that drives this industry. But creators here say that unless markets expand and production costs drop, these African prints will remain a luxury to many and out of reach for Africans. Trevor Ngendo for Lunchtime News in Accra, Ghana.
Oh, thank you, Trevor Ngendo, for that beautiful story from Ghana. Now, the Food and Agriculture Organization is training women on conservation agriculture and land management as an alternative source of livelihood. FAO says the Forest and Facility Project targets to offer an alternative livelihood and conserve the environment.
Nemlok Women Group from the marginalized Laikipia North Sub-County is one of the Food and Agriculture Organization beneficiaries of the Forest and Facility Project. The group was advanced 3.4 million shillings to start conservation agriculture projects. Under the project, women are trained on conservation, beekeeping, goat rearing, and land management.
We began by training the various groups. It was among the 14 groups that were trained on implementation of the direct beneficiary grant. And after we trained them, they embarked straight on as trainers of trainers to their group.
The project also trains women on value addition to increase earnings and also target international markets.
Before FAO Port, we used to have 10 beehives and we used to sell our honey at 300 with a very low production. But after FAO came in, we were supported with 40 beehives and we were trained about honey value chain, where we learn importance of honey.
To boost nutrition in the semi-arid areas, the women groups have also started kitchen gardens and improved poultry rearing.
Kama Murupusi community land, tumetenga ardhi kidogo ambaye ni 5 hectares na tukapatia hawa ndio waweze kufanya maendeleo yao hapa.
From the ventures, the Namlok Women Group have created a 600,000 shillings revolving fund that acts as cheap credit to its members to expand their projects.
Tulikuja kupata interest ambayo tunawapatia wamama kama dividends ama even kuchukua table bankings. Hizo pesa wanaenda kununua nazo mbuzi, wanunua nayo asali, beads, wanashona na tunauza locally na internationally.
Benson Rioba reporting for Lunchtime News.
The National Treasury has disbursed the National Treasury has disbursed 500 million shillings to start construction of 3 water irrigation projects in Embu County. Irrigation Principal Secretary Fantas Kimodo, the Kamata and Kanyuambora irrigation projects will be complete by next year and will support 1,500 households.
Residents of the Arin-Beere North constituency in Embu County are set to increase their agricultural activities as the government start irrigation projects in the area. The projects will cost 500 million shillings once they are complete and are expected to serve 15 households in the area. Operations at the Kamata and Kanyuambora irrigation schemes costing approximately 400 million shillings are scheduled to start next year.
Tuko na project tatu. Ya kwanza ni ile ambayo tumetoka ambayo inaitwa Kamata Irrigation Project ambayo serikali imeweka 124 million. Na leo kama vile tumefanya inspection, tumeona hiyo project imeendelea sana. Tayari contractor ashamaliza kujenga intake na jambo la pili tulikuwa tumekuja kufanya hapa ni kufanya capacity building. Ndipoza maji itapofikia wakulima waweze kujua vile wataweza kutumia hiyo maji.
The third project, being a micro-irrigation initiative, targets to benefit individual farmers, allowing them to store runoff during the rainy season for use during dry periods.
Hii mradi imenisaidia na kuharvest hiyo maji na kunisaidia wakati wa jua kulima vitu wakati sinahitaji maji, niko na hiyo maji nimeharvest kwa hizo mandemu.
The government says the projects are also aimed at boosting horticultural farming, which earns an average gross income of about 208,000 shillings per acre annually. Sylvia Gatti for Lunchtime News.
We get sporty for a moment now. National Under-17 men's soccer team Junior Stars are edging closer to a historic qualification for the 2026 Under-17 Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco. Kenya's young side has impressed throughout the tournament, opening their campaign with a 1-1 draw against Somalia before securing a head-fought 2-1 victory over Rwanda. On Monday, the momentum continued as the Junior Stars confidently brushed aside South Sudan with a 2-0 4-0 win. The results places Kenya firmly on course for a place in the semi-finals. This afternoon, they take on a tournament host Ethiopia in a decisive clash. A win will guarantee them a spot in the last 4, and with it, a qualification for next year's CAF Under-17 AFCON. The team remains focused and optimistic as they prepare for one of their most important matches yet, knowing that victory will bring Kenya one step closer to the continental stage.
Team imekuwa like poa. Our first game ndo kidogo tulilegeza, tulikuwa chini kidogo, but sahi tuko compact.
Tuna determine kama umeanza vibaya au umeanza vizuri. Tunadetermine hizo games zingine. Na tumekuja tukarecover the second game and the third game. Tumeshinda zote na tumequalify for now, tumequalify but tumeremain na game moja.
And that good story for our very own under-17 national teams brings us to the conclusion of Lunchtime News here on KBC Channel 1. My name is Giverson Maina. Our sign language interpreter is Anne Wangeshi. On behalf of everybody who made this newscast possible, we say thank you for watching, for your viewing.
Greetings in the name of the Most High Jah Rastafari. My good name is Marley Moses, the positive warrior, alongside...
Yes, sir, DJ D-Rage, the baddest. Each and every Wednesday from 10 p.m. on KBC Channel 1 TV.
Tunakuletea the biggest reggae party in 254 in a yard extra. Extra niceness of reggae music.
Extra dose of entertainment.
When the thing is nice, we have
to do it twice.
Hujambo mpenzi mtazamaji, natumai ubuheri wa afya.
Ni wiki nyingine tunakutana katika kipindi chetu cha mkulima,
tukiwa tayari kujifunza mbinu tofauti pamoja na teknolojia za kurahisisha kilimo. Mimi naitwa Boniface Mutunga.
Nami naitwa Karen Kanewe.
Karibu. Mtazamaji wa kipindi cha mkulima, leo hii tuko katika kaunti ya Kajiado. Tunakutana na Askofu Mohamed Kamwaro ambaye anafanya ufugaji wa ng'ombe wa maziwa. Wacha tuzungumze naye